All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and we have a pretty big game tomorrow. This could alter the trajectory of this organization and where we're headed to for the future for years to come based on whether we win or lose this game. Of course, if we lose and if other certain teams win or lose their games, we can finalize having the second overall pick, and that can be franchise changing. Meanwhile, you got Ron Rivera over here apparently trying to give away the second overall pick. Ron Rivera just recently found out, I don't know how he missed this, but then again, I'm not surprised because him not knowing that we could potentially be eliminated after that Cleveland Browns game last year, and the fact that he even just admitted that out loud was wild. That's even worse than this situation, but still, he just found out that he has a 500 record for his overall career, like just Mr. Mid, Mr. Average, perfect 500 record. And then once somebody brought that to his attention, he said, well, now I actually do kind of want to win this game. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the fact that, I mean, honestly, even if Rivera wanted to win this game, can he? We're going to give like a big injury report on everything. We're going to do also like a breakdown on some of the other recent crazy quotes he's had like this past week. It's just been ridiculous. Also, a lot of veterans are not playing in this upcoming game. Are they avoiding playing in this final game to protect themselves for the future, for the next regime, or maybe even for the potential next team that they may go to? Because right now, a veteran getting hurt in this absolutely pointless game would only cost them money. So we're going to talk about all of that and more, some interesting stats that I have as well, and some other reasons why Ron Rivera has not been great for us, man. I mean, we're going to talk about the Pro Bowl and the fact that we're shut out from it and how we deserve to be shut out from it, but how Chase Young and Montez Sweat are in the Pro Bowl. It's almost as if you got to leave the burgundy and gold to become a Pro Bowler. You can play the same exact way, but you're going to be overlooked until you leave, and we got to change that, man. But there's a lot to take into account. There's a lot of things we got to talk about before we do. Make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Stay tuned because I have so many great video ideas. I'm working on a video where I'm literally breaking down and comparing all of the weaknesses and strengths to the top quarterbacks in this draft, and that video might run for like an hour because I'm really trying to be like, okay, this guy's good at this, but this guy's good at this, and things like that. We're gonna try to do a full breakdown, and I'm gonna have some like player comps as far as ceiling and floor. How bad can they potentially be, but also how great can all of those guys potentially be? I'm working on a video breakdown. John Com did extensive research into how Josh Harris wants to build his organization. Stay tuned for that video. Also, you have Marcus Spears out here saying that the Commanders should trade our second overall pick for Justin Fields. We're going to do a full breakdown on that, and that video is probably going to run like 30 minutes because we're going to look at it from every angle possible. So many different video ideas, and I'm also working on a mock draft, so stay tuned. So much content, and I know I've been skipping days recently, but we're back to every day, and let's go ahead and get to it. Let's talk about this video. Let's get it. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this Rivera having a career .500 record right now, which is just absolutely insane. Dead even. I mean, he couldn't have done that if he tried, man. That's absolutely ridiculous. Again, I always make fun of Ron Rivera because the very first year in NFL history that we had an 18-week season, 17 games, odd number of games, Ron Rivera still found a way to go 500, going 8-1. I mean, it's just literally like he has to be doing this on purpose. But Ron Rivera said that he did not know his career record was .500. Knowing that, he was asked if finishing above .500 was important. He said, quote, "Now it is, yeah," unquote. Like, come on, dog. Don't be weird, Rivera. Don't do this. Don't be weird. Don't be weird. You're already on the way out. We don't need that. We don't. But at the same time, it's just like, does he have any power to change this? Like, you know, when he wanted to win, we were still losing. When we wanted to beat the Giants, at least one out of the two times we played them. When we wanted to beat the Bears at home. All of these games we wanted to win, and we still lost. We haven't made the playoffs since that, my boy Rio Robinson calls it the Mickey Mouse playoff season, NFC East division victory crown that we have. We haven't made it since then, and I'm pretty sure we've been trying then. So I don't know why, even as a fan that wants the number 2 overall pick, that has nothing to gain from this Cowboys game. I'm not really afraid of us actually winning that game, because as much as we've wanted to win games and we still didn't win it, and the Cowboys are actually pretty motivated and have something to play for, unlike last season. Last season, it was like a difference in like seeding a little bit, but I believe them and the Eagles right now are competing to see who's going to win the division and end up with the NFC East crown, rather than being a wild card team, which changes home field positioning, plays in the bye weeks, all that type of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure we won't have any effect, but still at the same time, first of all, like I said in the intro, I mean, it's just ridiculous that he's just not aware. I mean, what is he aware of? If he's not aware after that Cleveland Browns game last year that we were potentially eliminated from the playoffs, we've been eliminated from the playoffs since like 4 or 5 weeks ago this season, which is just absolutely terrible. After starting 2-0 is wild. It's just like, what are you aware of, man? This is crazy. I would just assume if I were a head coach, I would keep track of my overall record. Maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he's just kind of coasting through the weeks and just going through the motions. He already knows he's on his way out. He just probably doesn't care. I don't know. But then my next question was, who even asked him that? Who was like, hey, Ron Rivera, you know, if you win this next game, this could take you from over 500, or you could finish your career as potentially as a head coach, if he doesn't end up head coaching anywhere else, as a below 500 coach. I know he's like one of the first 8 or 10 coaches to reach a certain amount of wins or something like that, but for your final career stats overall to be below 500 is a little bit different than being slightly above 500, even if it's just the difference in 1 win and 1 loss. I'm pretty sure he still would want that. And I'm just like, bruh, who asked him this, man? Why do we even bring this to his attention? We already know he's not aware of things. Don't even bring stuff up like that. And I love the memes I was seeing about this, because my boy Will Big, who you see on the screen right now, my boy said he got the little meme where people sit up when they starting to take a video game a little bit more seriously. He said the arms are unfolding for this one. So maybe we'll actually see some passion and Ron Rivera not just sitting there with his arms folded all game, because now this is what the first game that he actually wants to really win. This boy about to pull out all the stops, especially on defense. His clock management might finally be on point. This is crazy. But again, at the end of the day, as a person, I'm pretty sure the vast majority of us want this number 2 overall pick no matter what it takes. Don't even worry about it. Ron Rivera has wanted to win in the past and we still didn't win. What would make this different? You know what I'm saying? So now moving on, he also had some other crazy comments, because Ron Rivera said that so far during his Washington tenure, circumstances have forced him to take on too much of a non-football role. He said, quote, "For 3.5 years, I've been managing. About the last 5 weeks, I've been coaching," unquote. What does that mean? You're the head coach, and then on top, so like you just been the head. You haven't been the head coach this whole time, and then you're the reason you've had all of this power. You're the one that wanted to be the manager. You're the one that wanted to be the Bill Belichick of the burgundy and gold. And then you could tell that he was growing tired of it over time, because at first he was everything. Then after a while, he brought in Martin Mayhew to be GM, Chris Polian, and Marty Herney to also, you know, be included in the front office to kind of help him with team personnel decisions and things like that. And then this year, he brought in Eric Bieniemy to also be the assistant head coach and to run the practices, to have complete control over the offense. Ron Rivera, literally at this point this season, and we've been questioning this all season, if Jack Del Rio had complete control of the defense, and Ron Rivera even admitted throwing Jack Del Rio under the bus at times, saying that, like, yeah, it was Jack Del Rio's show. Now that Jack Del Rio's gone, I've been wanting to try a few things, but since it was his show, we couldn't do it. It was his thing. So now that he's gone, I can try my thing now. So throwing him under the bus also kind of, you indicted yourself, saying that, yeah, you weren't doing anything for the defense. You weren't doing anything for the offense this year since Eric Bieniemy's been here. And Eric Bieniemy has basically been like almost the head coach, running the practices, running the meetings and things like that. What has Ron Rivera done this year at all? It's just mind-blowing. This man just admitted that he hasn't been coaching for 3.5 years, y'all. That is crazy. I don't even know what that means as a head coach. And then Ron Rivera was even asked, does he want to even be a head coach again? He basically said something to the extent of, we'll see. And basically tried to like still play it cool as if there's a chance he may not be fired. He's gone, bro. He's absolutely gone. Again, this video that I'm working on, this John Com did excellent research, does a great breakdown on how Josh Harris wants to build this organization. He has exact quotes from people close to Josh Harris and stuff like that around the NFL. It's a great article. I'm gonna do the whole breakdown with that, and I'm also bringing other information to make it like a full dive into what Josh Harris wants to, what his vision for the Commanders basically is. But Man, I'm telling you, bro. I just don't understand how Ron Rivera thinks that there's any chance that he may not be fired at the end of this, bro. And then also, are we tanking for the second pick according to the players? I know what Ron Rivera said was trying to go above 500, but it looks like the players are feeling a completely different way because Jonathan Allen is out versus the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like that's alone enough for us not to be able to win that game. And it seems like a lot of veterans are playing, are avoiding playing. I mean, you have like Tariq Castro-Fields, not necessarily a veteran, but Kendall Fuller and Christian Holmes going on IR. You have Jonathan Allen, who's out. And then you also have Cameron Curl, Casey Toohill, and Andrew Wiley, who are questionable. And I doubt those guys play. And I think, honestly, if we were in a scenario where, like, we needed to win this game, like if this was the last game of the season, whoever wins the division, like that 2012 RG3 season against the Cowboys last game of the season. And I'm pretty sure that's why they always schedule us against the Cowboys last game of the season. And we've done it 2 years in a row. They're hoping that both of us are good enough to where that could be like a big must-see game for everybody to get ratings, make money and stuff like that. But we haven't held our end of the bargain, so it hasn't been a game to really watch. Even though last year was pretty interesting, we upset them, but they didn't have as much to play for. So, you know, I mean, how much were they really even trying? But either way, I feel like if this game mattered and we needed to win this game to make the playoffs, I feel like guys like Jonathan Allen, who was out, would definitely be playing. I feel like Kendall Fuller maybe even would have waited to go in IR, like, nah, I'm good type of thing. I'll try to at least tough it out one more game. I don't know the extent of his injury, but I'm just guessing. That's what it seems like. Also, I think it's a lot of it is just veterans making sure that they just don't get hurt and mess up long-term money with a long-term injury in a pointless game that could affect their careers all the way down the road. Like, this could literally make things worse for them if they get hurt. There's not much to gain and there's all to lose. All of the veterans want to be healthy just in case they need to find another team to go to, or if they're auditioning for the next regime here for the Burgundy and Gold, they need to be healthy enough to show, hey man, you might want to keep me around. Like in Cameron Curl's situation, he's an unrestricted free agent right now. If he gets hurt, that just only decreases the money that he could potentially get with his next contract, which we're already like, I don't know. The money you're asking for, I'm not sure if I'm willing to give it to you as a fan, but especially the next regime is willing to give it to you as the next regime of the Burgundy and Gold. Him getting hurt out there only could potentially make his situation way worse. He'll lose all of his bargaining leverage and everything will just go out the window. So I don't even know why Cameron Curl is even listed questionable. He more than likely will not go out there. If I were him, I wouldn't. Honestly. I mean, he's literally an unrestricted free agent. As soon as that game clock says fourth quarter 0:00 against the Cowboys, Cameron Curl is no longer on the Burgundy and Gold, along with Kendall Fuller, Curtis Samuel, a lot of guys, Khalid Hudson, all of our linebackers, David Mayo, Cody Barton, edge rushers, and even F.L. Botto, who's on IR, Casey Toohill, Jay Smith-Williams, Joey Sly, our kicker, Jeremy Reeves, our all pro special teamer, Jamison Crowder, your starting punt returner, Antonio Gibson, your technically starting kick returner, and the second head of the double two-headed running back monster that we love, that I hope that we keep, that we re-sign Antonio Gibson to keep him a part of. But like, man, we have so many guys that are walking out the door after this, and I don't think, unless they go out there and have Hall of Fame games, I don't think they have much to gain in this game. I think they have all to lose. I wouldn't play if I were a veteran. I'm not going to lie. I would just act like I have an injury. Any little slight boo-boo, if I stubbed my toe that morning, I'm not playing. We also went ahead and signed Nick Whiteside from the practice squad. We also signed Abdullah Anderson, the defensive tackle that we brought in from the Falcons in free agency last year, that was actually looking pretty good in the offseason, but he ended up not making the team. And then we also brought over Benning Patoa from the practice squad as well. So those are the three signings we brought in to replace the Kendall Fuller, Tariq Castro-Fields, and Christian Holmes on IR. And if you thought we didn't have a secondary last week, we literally don't have a secondary this week. We don't even have backup bench guys available. Kiyu Blue Kelly might be out there starting. This is chaos right now. Also, man, Ron Rivera, with this whole situation he got going on, it just, first of all, I feel like a lot of the players don't want to play in this game because, again, for reasons I've already explained, injury only going to hurt their careers in the long term as far as making money, leverage, and all that type of stuff. But I also feel like the players just don't really even want to win. I don't feel like we have the right culture. I'm pretty sure the players feel a certain type of way about how Ron Rivera treated the Sam Howell situation. So now let's dive into a lot of the mistakes Ron Rivera has made. And I've brought up a couple of these before, but some of these are kind of new that I'm bringing up for the first time in this video. So first of all, like I've already said before, for the third time in 4 years, the Commanders was supposed to have a new starting quarterback going into week 17. That ended up not happening. But also since 2020, since Ron Rivera's been here, we've had 8 starting quarterbacks. I mean, granted, Gary Gilbert and Ryan Fitzpatrick only started 1 game each, but Ryan Fitzpatrick was supposed to be a starting quarterback that entire season. And Taylor Heineke has the most starts, and Sam Howell is second. And there's a big gap between second, with Sam Howell have 16 starts and Carson Wentz in third with 7. Like, that's the guy you're benching? I mean, this whole Jacoby Brissett Sam Howell situation is crazy because you keep benching him. You bench him 2 games in a row, and then you announce that he's not even going to be the starting quarterback for the next game. And then now Jacoby Brissett is hurt, and then now you got to start Sam Howell again. And now it's looking like Sam Howell will start this final game of the season for what? I mean, I'm glad that it's like mine as well. I don't really see the advantage of starting Jacoby Brissett at this point. And the way Jacoby Brissett at his offense looks like he may put us more at a higher risk of losing that second overall pick than Sam Howell even would. I just don't see the benefit of Jacoby Brissett playing at all. So this whole situation has been stupid. Then on top of all of that, not playing your younger guys as much as possible has been really, that's probably the thing. Again, I know I keep saying it, but that's the thing that's been making me the most upset with Ron Rivera. Why is Emmanuel Forbes not even getting a single snap until Benjamin St-Juste gets hurt a couple of weeks ago? Why? What is the advantage in that? You cut Danny Johnson, which does not make your secondary better. It does not make your team better. You cut Danny Johnson so that you could pave the way for some younger guys to play. So, okay, you're doing that. Embrace that. The season's over. Okay, let's get a look at the younger guys. But then Emmanuel Forbes doesn't play the immediate games that after you cut Danny Johnson until Benjamin St-Juste gets hurt. I'm not understanding the logic at all. I don't know what we're doing there. Then, of course, Montez Sweat, 7 sacks since week 12, which was first in the NFL in that period. That's mismanagement there. Then you have Nick Sundberg out here killing Ron Rivera. He crushed him on G&D and said the team lied to my face about his contract during the 2020-2021 season. And it's just crazy too, because Nick Sundberg at the time was 33. He only cost $1 million per year, had no issues ever snapping the ball. That was something we never worried about. And yet Ron Rivera felt it was necessary to not only use a draft pick to trade up, but to get a replacement long snapper that can't long snap and is terrible. I mean, that's like literally the microcosm of how he's managed this roster since he's been here. It's just ridiculous. And then if you even look at what Morgan Moses is doing for the Ravens compared to what Andrew Wiley's doing for us, and you can blame Eric Bieniemy for some for that, but Morgan Moses is literally having a better year than Andrew Wiley. That's incredible in itself. Also, we should have had Kyle Hamilton and Christian Gonzalez. You easily could have had both, and we don't have either. That's absolutely ridiculous. The way Ron Rivera and Martin Mayhew have handled building this roster is wild. And just to let you know, Kyle Hamilton is balling. Like, if you didn't know, he is hooping right now for the Ravens. He made the Pro Bowl and everything, which we got to talk about. We got to talk about that Pro Bowl. And shouts out my boy Disco, because he brings up a great point. Just because Ron Rivera drafted a few of these guys, it doesn't automatically mean that another coach can't get the most out of them. I feel like there were some bad draft picks, some bad personnel decisions, but I also feel like there's a lot of bad development going on, where we're just not developing guys the way we're supposed to. We're not putting them in the best situations to succeed. So just to let you know, even though Emmanuel Forbes looks like a huge draft bust right now, you never know if the next regime may get their hands on him and play more zone, which is what he's better at. And then now Emmanuel Forbes finally looks like a first round pick. You never know. Jahan Dotson, Jamin Davis's development. The next regime could come in and put these guys in the right situations, develop them the right way, and it can work out. So that's something I just wanted to point out. But also, this Pro Bowl situation is wild. The Washington Commanders were shut out of the Pro Bowl. Just to let y'all know, we had no Pro Bowl players. Incredible. And to be completely honest, we didn't deserve to have anybody up there. If there were one guy that I would argue that, yeah, maybe they could have, maybe they should have made it, is Samuel Cosby. And that's literally why I'm working on a video. I'm breaking down a lot of stats, a lot of grades from Pro Football Focus. I'm even looking at some film. We're going to have fun with that one, because I'm working on a video basically explaining how Samuel Cosby is arguably the best player on this team. At least this season he was. So I'm going to do a video breaking that down. Honestly, if there were only one player that could have made the Pro Bowl that deserved it the most, I probably would have went with Samuel Cosmi. I'm not gonna lie. But the fact that we had nobody to make the Pro Bowl just proves that the next GM and head coach have their work cut out for them, dog. Boy, they got some work to do, man. They got some serious work to do. And just to let you know, the Commanders have only drafted one Pro Bowler since 2020. And since Ron Rivera's basically been here. And guess who that is? Chase Young. Chase Young and Montez Sweat have both made the Pro Bowls, even though no Commanders did. And they were with us for half the season. Now, granted, Chase Young is an alternate for the Pro Bowl, but Montez Sweat is straight up just a Pro Bowler. And that's incredible. I mean, again, like I said in the intro, maybe one half of that is politics. If it's a burgundy and gold player, they're being overlooked by voting, by coaches, by everybody, the media. But also there's the other side where guys leave the Commanders and play better because defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators, whatever, just do a better job of developing these guys and putting them in situations to succeed. And that just tells you everything you need to know. The only two Pro Bowlers that we could have had on our team are on other teams, and they've only been on those teams for half the season, which is absolutely incredible. And just to let you know, since the 4 years he's been here, he's only had one Pro Bowl appearance from 34 draft picks and 0 Pro Bowl appearances from all of the free agency additions. That is ridiculous, dog. That is malpractice. Honestly, we might need to sue Rivera. Because if you remember last year when Jeremy Reeves made the Pro Bowl and had us shedding tears, him and Tressway, the moment they had and everything like that, the Pro Bowl really means a lot to these players. It definitely says something when these players not at least one guy makes the Pro Bowl. This is a depressing team. Remember Cornelius Lucas and Terry McLaurin just last week were talking about how they're jealous of other teams and organizations about like how they're still competing in December and January, like their games matter. Terry McLaurin literally said he wished that he could go like how other teams, he's envious that football is fun. He literally said like it's amazing that other teams feel like football is fun, which basically insinuates that football is not fun here. And then even recently, January 3rd, just a couple of days ago, Jahan Dotson was asked about the culture of this team. And you know Ron Rivera has always preached culture, even though Jamin Davis is supposed to be this militant background. That was always the excuse for reaching on him. Athletic with a high ceiling and a militant background, but he's over here with multiple court situations going on to where he may not even be able to play in the NFL again type of situation. So all this culture stuff, and Jahan Dotson was asked what needs to happen inside the locker room. He said, quote, a sense of culture. We got to have a mindset in here that we want change. The best teams in any sport are player led, unquote, which is kind of an indictment on him as a first round pick. I mean, like, maybe some of y'all players need to step up and change this culture a little bit, but also Ron Rivera, you preach culture and it looks like the culture isn't necessarily there. At the very least, the wheels are falling off at the end. Even if the ride was pretty smooth for a while, right now the wheels are falling off. There's literally no culture right now, and that's what you literally hang your hat on. Also, hey man, we got to retire the term positional flex. We're done with that now. We're done. I was sick of it since he's been here. Always been sick of it. But now that Ron Rivera's gone, I don't want to ever hear it again from the next regime. GM, head coach, president of football operations, personnel department, whoever. I don't care who it is. I don't want to hear positional flex ever again. I'm not lying. Also, before we get up out of here, Sam Howell will start, like I said, this last game of the season. I think that is the right decision. But while we're here, if he does actually end up starting this game, which Ron Rivera said he will, Howell will become the first quarterback to start every regular season game in a burgundy and gold regular season since Kirk Cousins did it in 2017. That's terrible. That's 2 head coaches. That's so many different quarterbacks. That is terrible, dog. And this is the same guy that you've benched multiple times and you didn't even want him to start going into that 49ers game until old man Jacoby Brissett had random leg tightness out of nowhere. Like, that boy had an old injury. And so it's crazy that Sam Howell is the first quarterback to start every game in the season for the burgundy and gold since Kirk Cousins did it in 2017. And y'all did everything in y'all power to make sure that he couldn't, and he still ended up doing it because bad luck or whatever you want to call it. That's incredible. Also, crazy situation that we're in. Remember when Sam Howell was on pace to break like a record for sacks? Well, right now, because he hasn't been sacked as much lately, it's been like 1 sack a game for the past few games. He's been sacked a total 61 times, which is the most in the NFL. But right now, Bryce Young is creeping up. He's at 59. He was sacked 6 times last week. So if we're looking at the data, if we're looking at recent trends, Bryce Young may actually finish the season sacked more times than Sam Howell. So Bryce Young can end the season as the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, and it may not be Sam Howell. Really interesting. really interesting. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. I appreciate all the support too. Y'all been going crazy. The video's been going crazy. Y'all really been supporting. Much love to y'all. Just because this season is about to end does not mean Street Score is about to end. Y'all know I love the off season probably just as much, maybe even sometimes depending on what's going on, more than the regular season. So y'all know I got y'all with free agency, draft stuff, GM candidates, head coaching candidates. Stay tuned. I'm working on all of those videos, kind of several mock drafts, all of that. And we're also gonna do more live streams. Even though the regular season, we won't be live streaming watching Commanders games, we're still gonna have like the call-in shows for y'all to call in throughout the offseason and everything, to voice your opinions, all of that type of stuff. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about all of this I discussed in this video, especially the Ron Rivera parts and stuff like that. And how do you feel about him potentially trying to win this game against the Cowboys, just to save his career? I mean, that's another thing that I feel like wasn't noticed. He didn't care about winning this game. He said this changes things, which means before hearing that stat about the 500, he didn't even care about winning this game. He didn't care about the players wanting to win this game, nothing. This is completely selfish. I just want to win this game so I can end my career above 500 as an NFL head coach, no matter the team I've head coached for overall. That's crazy. I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. I'm out.